everyone. So Happy New Year. Hope you guys had a wonderful holiday. I wanted to start the new year off with you doing something healthy. So if you are anything like me, the holidays were challenging. Actually, I've had a bit of a challenging time since about April. So, and I'm hoping you guys can see me okay. I don't have anyone here helping me film. So I'm by myself, and I'm just hoping that you can kind of see everything okay. If my head's being cut off or anything, let me know. But I just want to do something really quick. If you're anything like me also, you don't have a lot of time. So I am going to do this very quickly. I am not a chef. I am a nurse and a mom, and I'm a super busy one at that. But starting in about April, I had surgery, and then of course the holidays. Everyone's busy during the holidays, right? And that's when most of us tend to get off track. But if you are a brain warrior, and I certainly am, you don't stay off track very long. You want to get back on track. I found myself and our family eating out a lot for the last few months. We actually had a couple deaths in the family during the holidays. It was really hard. And just things were hectic. So like many of you, I understand. And but I want to start this year off being healthy again, getting really back on track. Even when you eat at really healthy restaurants, if you're doing it often enough, sometimes you start slipping a little bit. But the bigger problem is you don't actually know all of the ingredients going into their food, right? So I went and got all my labs checked, like I do usually at the end of every year, and realized some of my numbers were starting to not look as good as they normally do. So, and I know that that's probably from eating out all the time, trying to do things quickly. And so I want to just get back on track. And part of doing that when you're as busy as I am, and as busy as a lot of you are, I know you are, find 5 recipes. That's going to be my challenge to you, is finding 5 recipes to start the year out. Don't try and overcomplicate things, okay? So for today, the one I'm choosing for today is a Crockpot chicken shawarma. Now, when I first started cooking, because I didn't know how to cook at all when I met Daniel, so I started doing things really simply, and I thought, Crockpots? That's like something like a grandmother used to use, right? Well, or a mom, and not my mom. My mom did frozen dinners, right? If you're from that generation, my mom worked all the time and she did frozen dinners. But crock pots seemed really foreign to me. But I got really used to using a crock pot again when I first started cooking, because they're amazing. If you have to leave, the really cool thing is you can get everything ready the night before, measure out all the ingredients, which probably takes, for this recipe, it took me about 12 minutes, okay? About 5 minutes to get everything, pull all the ingredients, another 7, to measure everything out, and then just throw it all in the crock pot. So I'm just gonna show you what I have. This is one of the really simple recipes that I have in Brain Warriors Way cookbook. Those of you who have the cookbook, it's on page 96. So Crockpot chicken shawarma, and special thanks to my friends from Whole Health Every Day who helped create some of the recipes in this book. This is one of the ones they helped with, and one of the instructions was super simple recipes. So here's what you're gonna do. You're actually gonna just take your chicken and dump it in your crock pot. It's about 2 pounds. I have a little more than that because I just don't wanna waste the leftover. So it's free-range chicken. Make sure your chicken is really clean. So you wanna always use clean poultry, so free-range, hormone-free, antibiotic-free. And then you're gonna chop up 1 onion, dice it up. I cheated today. I used a pre-diced onion. Normally I would chop it up, but I'm running really late. So 1 onion, I used the pre-diced onions from Whole Foods, throwing that in there. We really like garlic. It calls for 5 garlic cloves. I'm using about 7 because I have a little extra chicken. Now, here's the interesting thing. You're gonna take a bunch of spices and a little bit of, I'm using bone broth. You can use chicken broth. I'm using bone broth, and I'm putting it into a bowl to whisk, about a cup. 2 teaspoons of paprika. Calls for turmeric. You can also use curry. I like the flavor of curry a little better, so turmeric is in curry. So you can either use the turmeric or you can just use the curry. I'm using curry. A little bit of salt, like a ½ teaspoon, or you can skip the salt if you prefer, if you're on a low sodium diet. So cumin. Cumin's a funny thing. So some of you really like the taste of cumin, the flavor. My husband hates it. So I'm using a very small amount, like half of what the recipe calls for. Just a pinch of it. It calls for a couple teaspoons. A little bit of pepper. And then 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. So I just squeezed a lemon, and then it calls for lemon zest. And I'm going to show you, for those of you who don't cook, when I first started cooking, I'm like, what the heck is lemon zest? You just take a microplaner and you just shave the top of the lemon. Oh, here it is. You just shave the top of the lemon. Don't go too deep because it'll get bitter, right? You just want that little fuzzy part of the top yellow part of the lemon. If you start going down too far into the white, it's gonna get too bitter. That's the zest. Put all that in a bowl, whisk it up, just make sure it's all mixed. It's not gonna get foamy or anything like that. Just make sure it's all mixed well. Dump it in. And the beautiful thing about a crock pot, you can just put it on slow cook, so depending on how long you're gonna be gone, if I were gonna be gone for 8 hours, I would just set it on super low, and then when I get home, it'll be ready. I'm gonna be gone for about 4. So I'm gonna put it on a setting, the setting where it'll say like 4 hours, and then when it's done cooking, it'll just go to warm. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's it, that's all there is. No more. So find 5 recipes. If you guys already have some, that's great. You've got the internet, it's wonderful. My website, tanaamen.com, has a ton. Brain Warriors Way Cookbook, my favorite cookbook that I have written, because it's got a whole bunch of recipes like this that are super simple. So there's no excuse. Start taking care of yourself. Enjoy the holidays. And let me know if you tried this recipe. This recipe is on tanaamen.com. If you have trouble, let me know. It should be there. And if it's not there, it'll be there within the next few minutes. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.